Hi everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Thank you very much for joining me. My name is Warren Bennett. Unfortunately, we don't have Trev for this video. He's keeping his paws dry indoors. As you can see, it's been raining pretty heavy in the UK over the last few weeks, and today is no exception. We've got a bit of rain in the air kind of at the moment, unfortunately, so better get cracking. So we've got this another sub swings for this video. So thank you for Paul. Thank you, Paul, for sending in your video to me from the front and the back. So before I show you Paul's swing, and we're going to go through a few pointers there which hopefully I can help him with. We did a little bit of correspondence beforehand because I always ask about ailments and things like that, and any sort of inconsistencies he would like to stop and have a bit more consistency, what's his bad shot, etc, etc. So Paul said no physical ailments, but like most golfers, only mental and emotional ones. We'll know where you're going with that, Paul. And Paul has a hook. So he kind of likes the idea of introducing a little bit more snap and a little bit more release, but when he does that, the ball tends to hook even more. And he's 54 and pretty stiff. So I'm pretty much your age, Paul, and I'm pretty stiff too. Yeah, so Paul, I'm just going to take you through a few pointers. I'm going to get the camera set up from the front view, and before it rains too heavy, we'll get going. Okay, Paul, so my first gut reaction is two areas I would improve. If you nudge the first domino, the second domino will have to fall in place to try and counteract that. It's called compensations, and if you can try and have less compensations, the more consistent you can get. First of all, from the front angle, you can see from the top of the backswing, you've got like a lot of lateral slide here. Now, there's a reason for that, I think, so I'm not going to dismiss that straight away. I'd rather, obviously, everyone to be this side of the fence more, because you can kind of produce a little bit more compression that way. But I think there's a bit of excess movement. So you can see halfway down, left arm parallel, around about hip height hands. You've got a lot of kind of pressure down into that left leg there. There's a lot of forward slide there. So you're kind of ahead of the ball, which is always good. Remember, it's always better to be in front of it than behind it, but I think there's a reason why. And then you kind of get here and you have to body stool, and your release is looking a little bit cramped on the way through there. I'll circle a few of those elements, but especially halfway down. But I think there's a reason for that. I think you can see there, I'll play a few of your backswings, is you get in a reasonably nice neutral position, halfway down, halfway up, and then from there your club face gets quite shut, and you've got this kind of excess movement here. And then from the front view as well, you can see you've got your left arm quite across you here. There's not a lot of width, and then you're getting kind of lateral, and you're kind of stuck here a little bit in the club, then it gets a bit thrown out, and you're kind of saving it a little bit from there, I would say, Paul. First port of call is I'd like you to get into a shorter, wider, more neutral club face position at the top. Now, I'm going to fast forward a little bit, a few minutes. Now, if you get in that position, a little bit more here instead of here, so I'll show you my position here in terms of width, left arm away from me, right arm instead of this kind of, your kind of left arm sucks across look there, you can see the split screen. If you get in this position with the club face a little bit more neutral, so you can see my club face, the leading edge, which I'll circle now, is pointing down, and you can see your leading edge is kind of more horizontal, which is closed. If you get in this neutral position, which I am right now, hopefully, if you layer that with your slide, you are going to hit it a long way right. It's going to start right and go right, because remember, your compensation for a closed club face at the top of the backswing is you have to slide it. If you rotated from this closed position at the top, you're going to hit it left, and that's what you're saying to me on the video, aren't you, Paul? On the text, I mean, sorry. Is when I release it, it goes left, it hooks too much. And I think the reason is your club face is closed. And if your club face is more neutral, you can now release it more square into the back of the ball without the fear of it closing down on you. So to start that, let's get in a position at the top of the backswing where it feels a bit shorter and a bit more neutral. And the easiest way to feel a neutral club face position, because really I don't know where that club face is, my only reference of where that club face is where my hands are. So you can see from the top of the backswing position from the front view there, I've got my left thumb supporting the club face at the top of the backswing. I think your wrist is a bit bowed, which makes your thumb on the side there a little bit too much, Paul, so you can see there. So if I take my right hand away, my thumb's on the side of the club, I can see like the golf pride looking out to the side too much, and you can see from the behind view it's now what's called closed, horizontal. I'll draw a line there. What you're looking for, Paul, I would say shorter arm position, and then feel basically cupping a little bit, only a little bit. But if you can get the club face, if you can get your thumb supporting the club at the top of the backswing, which basically the difference between that and that doesn't hurt, and you can see a little bit of cup there from the behind view. It's probably too much, it's probably open, let's have a look. Yeah, it's probably open, it's pointing down a little bit too much, so I wouldn't go excessive, but hey, why not if you're hitting into a net, I'd say, Paul, definitely. So keep it nice and neutral, nice and short, so you can do a few backswings and stop at the top. Stop at the top, take your right hand off and look. Yep, thumb supporting the shaft. You can look into a mirror and see it yourself, but if you've got your thumb underneath the club shaft like that, as you can see, the club face will mirror that. If my thumb's to the side, the club face is going to mirror that. So whatever my wrist does, you see, wherever I am, is going to affect the golf club and the club head. So without hitting a ball to start with, Paul, twist, nice and short, arms away with a bit of cupping. Beautiful. And you can do a few of those. Head nice and still. You don't have to move your head too much. Twist and hold. And you can see that the difference is my club face is now pointing down compared to yours, and my arms are nice and wide. And that's going to set you up, Paul, for your downswing motion, because I think, like I said previously, the compensation for a closed club face is you having to put a lot of lateral slide in. Once you get this club face nice and neutral, you won't have to go too much that way, and you can get a little bit more snap down there with your arms instead of leaning with your body. And you can see on the follow through, the result of you being quite into your left side too quickly is your left shoe will start turning through, because it's giving way a little bit, because you're anchored too much over on your left leg there. It's probably exaggerated, so I apologise, but if I'm twist on top of that leg, it's going to give way. So you can keep your leg action a little bit more passive now. So remember, we've moved the domino in a slightly different position here, and it's now going to affect the downswing position, so we need to change that a little bit more. And any type of lessons I've given in the past, because at the moment I'm not really giving one-to-one lessons at the moment, but any lessons I've given in the past, if I change one thing, I've kind of got to change the second ingredient. It's never a one ingredient. Sometimes it is, no question about it. But if you've got a compensation to a fault, you're going to have to change that compensation, Paul, okay? From a more neutral, twisted hand position at the top, more neutral club face, you don't have to go lateral now. So you want to try and keep yourself nice and passive with your your lateral shift. Why not hit balls with your feet kind of two club head widths apart? Any sort of small lateral here, you're going to feel it and fall over. So it's really going to keep you quite centered now. Now, the golf ball's going to tell you everything here. I haven't got the flight scope, unfortunately, it's raining. The golf ball's going to tell you everything. So this is really important, Paul. Feet narrow together, so that's going to keep you a little bit more centered. Wide and short and twist. Then from here, you can still kick off your right side, but we're going to stay nice and central. Nice and central, Paul. So you're going to basically try and keep your balance from a narrow stance. If you start falling forward, you know you've gone too early with your lateral shift. Remember, you're waiting now because this club face is neutral and your hands are in a wider position, they're not across your body here. Now you can now drop your hands more and then let them release through. Because if this club face is now square coming down to the ball, you can release it now, Paul. And this is exaggerated. I'm not expecting you to change the needle too much. Just a little bit of this. Not expecting you to go massive here, but just subtle. It's going to feel short to you. And at the same time, from about here, you're going to feel your wrists not go bow left wrist. You're going to feel some cup. So you can kind of do a few old, new, old, new. And you can do that whilst looking down at the ball. And I'm a great believer in doing that whilst looking down, because it puts the brain, you can feel that better instead of actually visually looking. Always do it whilst you're looking down at the ball or the club face or the imaginary ball if there's not one there. So twist, and you can check in the mirror if you like. There you can see from the behind view, my club face is now open, I would say, but it's definitely not closed. Swing down and through, keeping that balance. And if you've got a game tomorrow, Paul, just narrow your stance. That'll change it straight away. You'll soon find out if you do it too much anyway. But I'm a great believer in your gyroscopes in your head will stop you lateral sliding anyway, because it wants to keep balanced. And then just keep on swinging. So nice and short. Feel a bit of left thumb under the grip. Lovely. Remember, it's not about perfection straight away, especially if you're layering new stuff. The ball is going to tell you everything. Now, if you do a good backswing and you lean into it, oh, old swing, it's going to go high right on you. So anything high right is showing you that the club face is slightly open, which is a good thing because you've changed your backswing. And anything high right means you're going to have to change your lateral, means you've got to work on that bit of your swing. Anything hooking, Paul, I would say it's club face work. So anything that goes left on you, so if you feel like you're staying a bit more central, so head nice and still, not as weight off your right leg and into your left, but you're keeping nice and central, you're waiting for it, feet are a little bit narrow, let's say, and you're doing it and the ball goes left. When you do that, you need to work on club face. You need to get that club face feeling like it's open more, okay? So the ball, over the next period of time, we'll say, will tell you what position to work on. There's always going to be this juggle. So there's always going to be this seesaw, I call it at the moment, when someone changes kind of a couple of ingredients in this swing, there's always going to be this seesaw balance. Okay, so there's always going to be a bit of backswing and a bit of follow through. But I'm a good and a great believer in trying to do stuff that kind of you don't have to think about too much. Short, keeping it nice and short away from you, twisty wrists so you can see, even check it every now and again, a little bit of cup there, lovely. And then from here, you're just kind of keeping your right leg on the ground a little bit more, wait for your arms to swing it in front of you because you can now, and then swing through, then up with everything. So you're just working that sequence, Paul, a little bit. You're not getting too much onto that left side, remember? So I'll show you halfway down, you're looking for a little bit more of this compared to your old one. And I'll show you a split screen. So backswing, you can see the difference there. Downswing, you can see the difference there. Now I'm not expecting you to do, if you can change yours by 30%, that's all you need with both things, and that's going to give you a little bit more chance to increase that snap down at the bottom there, Paul, and not have this kind of little hold on, kind of collapse a little bit, I'd say. Remember, your arms are only collapsing because it's run out of room. You're trying to get this club back into the ball because you've wasted all your lateral too early, and then it's kind of collapsing a little bit. So it's blending those two feelings, Paul, I would say. And be patient. Layering anything new into a golf swing is always tricky. So anything new is going to take a bit of time. Changing the needle a little bit, and the golf ball is going to tell you everything you need to know. So please keep me in touch, Paul. I'd love to see your progress. Any changes, any questions, I'd love to hear from you, Paul. And it's been a pleasure to try and help you out. So if you'd like to, like I said at the start of the video, if you'd like to send in your swing, please do so via the socials down there. Thank you very much for everyone's support. And if you've got your swing, I'd love to help you out and do an analysis for you. So from a not so rainy UK now, thank goodness, from myself and the very dry Trev inside, I'll see you on the next video. Have a great golfing week, everyone, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, everyone. Cheerio.